Okay, Tower Talk is live now. Welcome, 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 everybody, to another edition, which is episode 5 of Tower Talk. Today we have Icy Blue. What up,
Yo,
Icy?
yo, let's get it.
We got Gall Beefy Nuts. Gall Knight,
What's up?
the Beefy Nuts.
What's up?
And then we got today another guest appearance. We got Jam. Jam, welcome back, Jam.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
All right, guys. How's everything going? Everything going good this week?
It's been
Yep,
pretty good.
yep. Pretty busy.
Guys
Yeah.
experiencing Crimson Days? What'd you guys think of Crimson Days?
At the beginning, there were so many tryhards. So many. Like, it was like every game you faced Luna's Howl, bro. I was getting sick of it. Then now you don't see him as much anymore, to be honest with you. I think I saw one Luna's Howl today when I was playing Crimson Days, and I was like, I think it's because I was outgunning him with, I think it's like Vigilance Wing. It's just over Luna's Howl. And he tried to outgun me, but I got him. But it was just, the tryhards were at the beginning of the week, so if you guys want to get on Crimson Days towards the end of the week, there probably won't be as much tryhards. I'll tell you guys that right now. Tryhards won't be on towards the end of the week because I don't know why. It's just I feel like they can go to quick play rather than Crimson Days. So
Yeah.
just
Icy,
like-
did you participate in Crimson Days yet? I know
No.
you've been busy a lot
Yeah.
this week with family and stuff like that, with personal things. But did you like get into Crucible, or did you try a Nightfall with one other person or anything like that this week?
No, I haven't had the chance to actually play or actually hop on Crimson Days yet. It's been a real hectic week for me so far.
Gotcha. I only did the Nightfall, to be honest with you. I'm not, as you guys know, I'm not a big into Crucible. So,
We'll have to
and
try
also, and also, to be honest with you, I think it's a little underwhelming in a way because last year I went full grind into it. So I pretty much got everything from last year because last year, you got to remember, it was a knockout list. So if you got something, you pretty much got it. And then the next time you got a Ingram, you pretty much got something that you didn't have before. So I pretty much got everything I wanted from last year's Crimson Days. And it just seems to me that they only had a couple of new things. I know one is that bow, that solar bow. So that I got because you get 75 for the Nightfall. Gall and I did the Nightfall together. So I got 75, and it was like, what, 100 Gall?
for the vow, yeah.
For the vow? Yeah. So I got that already. So pretty much, other than that that ghost that you got the other day, Gall, which I got from D1, doing Crimson Days in D1, that's the only two things that me personally I could see trying to grind for. That ghost shell, that chocolate ghost shell, and the bow
Pretty easy.
itself. So I don't know. I think it's a little underwhelming. I just didn't like the fact that Bungie pretty much seemed a little lazy on this, to not incorporate anything new into it. I know it's only a week, but I just thought it was a little underwhelming. How about you, Jam? What are your thoughts on it?
I agree, but again, it's a free event, so I wasn't really expecting much to begin with. I do like the bow. It's pretty nice. Again, most of the stuff that you can get is stuff from last year. I don't think I'm going to grind for anything, really. If I get enough to get the ornament for the Ward Cliff, that'd be cool, but I'm not going to go out of my way to get this stuff.
Yeah, the only reason why I said it was a little underwhelming because we had the Dawning, and the Dawning seemed like it was a lot of fun. Grinding for that sleigh was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I kind of stinks that we can't use that sleigh with getting the Glimmer anymore. It was only for that event, but it was a lot of fun grinding, making cookies, and I thought it was very creative. I just think that there was no creativity in this one.
We have to understand that Christmas is also a bigger holiday than Valentine's too. that you have to also take that into account because some people may not even know what Valentine's may be. I don't
Yeah,
know how
like
they
me
would
and you,
know,
like
but-
you and I, we have no girlfriends, so we're pretty much screwed on Valentine's Day. That's why we're doing Tower Talk.
Actually, I actually felt it underwhelming because the confectionery heart one where you get the heartwarming package. I've only gone 3 Masterwork cores out of all the packages I have turned in to Shaxx. I've only gotten 3 this week, and that's very, very sad in my opinion. By now, in the Dawning, you'd probably have at least 4 to 5 at least. Because I remember at the end of Dawning, I turned in all my cookies. I mean, you were there, Waffles, when I was making cookies that night when we were playing Gambit.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I finally turned in all my cookies, and I got, I think, 100 enhancement cores from turning in all those cookies that I made. And so I feel like this event, for the enhancement cores, I feel like it just wasn't that good. The enhancement cores.
Yeah, Dawning was great for getting cores.
Oh, yeah. The best.
So basically, you're saying what I'm saying. There's really nothing to grind for, basically. I mean, like I said, I'm not a Crucible player.
That's Triumphs.
So yeah, except Triumphs. I know they're very
And fun
achievable.
builds.
Yep. And I know that they're very achievable, but if you're not into the whole Crucible thing, then I mean, the Vow, okay. I've heard,
The bow.
you know, yeah, I heard the Vow, the bow was iffy, if that. It's pretty much a solar element. They try to make it for Crucible, but a lot of people that I've watched videos like Ascross, they basically said that it's not really a great PvP bow. So, I mean, what else is there to really grind for, fellas? I mean, honestly.
Sure agree.
So that's why I thought
but even
that's
then,
yeah, that's why I thought it was a little underwhelming. And that's just my opinion. Oh. Well, I know you're the Crucible guru in this chat, so what was your thoughts totally on Crucible itself? Was it fun? Did you
it
team
was-
up
it was
with
really fun.
somebody?
it was fun because you could go with different builds in there. The builds that I had fun with were you'd have to have someone with you, obviously, for this build to work. Is you'd have go the Well of Radiance on the Warlock, then you'd go Last Word with like a sniper rifle, and what you'd be doing is you'd be getting that healing grenade and throwing the grenade at with your teammate next to you. You'd heal both yourself. You have the Empowering Rift with Lunafactions. You place down the Empowering Rift by like a wall or something. Use the Last Word and you shoot them down with it. That was a lot of fun to use. But if you're just going in solo, a few builds I actually tested out today and last night was Sturm and Drang, this Drang sidearm Sturm hand cannon. Those were really fun to use. I usually don't use that in quick play, but I use that in this, and though that was a lot of fun. I used the Graviton Lance, and the Graviton Lance is okay. It can still 3-tap, but it's not like crazy as it was. I used the Mida. The Mida was pretty good. Vigilant Swing was pretty good. In this event, you could use anything. I feel like people would do okay because it's not isn't so competitive.
Isn't there some secret triumphs that you found?
Yeah. So at the beginning of the week, I was thinking, oh, what if you use Crimson or Crimson Days? What do you mean? Cool thing, I got a triumph by killing 2 people with the Crimson. And then videos came out like an hour later. Oh, you can get secret triumphs. I already know about the Crimson one. I didn't know about the Vigilant Swing and the Two-Tailed Fox one. The Two-Tailed Fox one is gonna be really hard to get. I haven't got that one yet, but I did get the Vigilant Swing one today, and that one was pretty easy to get because you should get a Blood for Blood medal while that weapon's equipped, and we all know how easy that is through the Last Word quest.
Why is the Two-Tailed Fox one hard?
Because sometimes they don't group up. Because, like, for instance, if you run Tether, they're not going to group up together because they know if they group up together, you're going to tether them, they're both going to die. Or, like, a super happens, they're both going to die. Like, personally, I only group up with my teammates sometimes, but sometimes I go around and, like, try and flank him or something, pull off a cool play or something like that. But with the Two-Tailed Fox also, is that you have to have, like, both of them really close together because it only tracks one person. Unless you're, like, really, really good at, like, flicking the controller, it's hard to get one person to fire the first rocket and then get another person to fire the second rocket. And so unless they're really close together, the blast radius I don't think is that big, in my opinion. So, I mean, I've seen people trying to get it like 9 to 10 games easy. Because I remember I was facing these 2 guys they would just camp the heavy because I'm guessing they want to get the try and two-tailed fox, and that's what they were trying to get. I didn't see them get it, so I think that one's gonna be the hardest one, but I haven't got it yet, so I haven't tried to get it yet either. So I think that's personally, I feel like that would be the hardest one to get of all those three.
Gotcha. Hey, Jam, have you gone into the Crucible and done doubles?
I haven't touched the Crucible yet. I was waiting till this weekend.
Gotcha. How about you,
I've just been doing
Icy?
the solo daily stuff so far.
Well, I've been waiting for
Gotcha.
Jam.
I know. Gall's been waiting for me to do it. I keep telling him no.
And then so here I am dueling with Manuel, Alan, and Insomniac.
I'm like Hirsch. Hirsch hates Crucible. Me and Hirsch are on the same bandwagon. We don't like PvP. We only do it because we have to.
I'm right there with you.
I hear you. I think a lot of people are, but hey, listen, it's another aspect of the game that we have to deal with. And I know that, Gall, you brought up the fact of something about trials. What was it that you wanted to talk about with trials?
Oh, trials. They said it won't be coming out for the next few seasons, and that kind of disappoints me, to be honest with you, because I haven't played trials because I'm a year 2 Destiny 2 player. Destiny player, actually, because I play both games now. And so I don't know about Trials of Osiris, Trials of the Nine. I wasn't there to experience that, so I don't know about it.
Yep. Gotcha.
And they said it won't be coming up for the next few seasons. I'd like to try my skill in there because that's where all the trials I know are going to go, besides quick play and competitive. Like every so often you'll see this guy like drop like a 22 streak on a quick play or something. I only seen that like once this month, and actually twice. One of them was myself, but even then, that's if one of them's tried harding really a lot. So I feel like trials is gonna be a good thing to come back with in the game. But they said that they haven't hit the mark with the formula yet, and I'm glad that they're saying, yeah, we're trying to get trials perfect for you guys, so then that means you guys will like it when you come out with it. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want them to rush this.
Well,
So,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead, Icy.
Well, yeah, like we were talking about this the last week actually, where we were saying how if Trials is coming back and everything else, this is I can't say it's disappointing that it's gonna take forever to come back. Like me personally, I tried Trials and yeah, we left it at that. Just tried.
Yeah. All right, I'm with you. Yeah, but this was going to lead me into the next topic. I heard a rumor. Good.
So now,
Then what?
So, but what I heard was that it was going to be a completely different map. Like they're going to do something completely different from D1 Trials. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what it is.
Gotcha.
It's not like I'll play it myself, but hey, I won't mind trying it out. Probably get carried.
Well, listening to rumors that were swirling between the whole breakup between Activision and Bungie, there was a new report that came out. The CEO of Activision, I think his name is Cody Johnson. He gave 3 reasons why there was a split with Bungie. Pretty much, it's kind of like almost the same thing that's going on with Netflix and Marvel. I don't know if you guys follow Netflix. Basically, they have Daredevil, they had the Defenders, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage. Pretty much they canceled, and the Punisher. They canceled the series on them because basically what's going to happen is Marvel/Disney are in the same family. They're coming out with their own channel. So kind of in a way, I read something today that the same reason why Bungie and Activision split, what Activision said is that they didn't own the IP of Destiny. So they don't want to invest all their money into something they do not own. So that's what Activision is saying, the reason for the split. But we heard before that it was Bungie who wanted the split. So it's like you're hearing 2 different stories now going on behind the scenes, and it's kind of ironic that you're starting to hear like they say that there's 2 sides of the story and then there's the truth. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's what Activision is saying? It's that because they didn't own the IP? Or is it Bungie saying, we had enough of you guys telling us what to do, so we're going to do our own thing?
I
What do you guys
definitely
think?
don't think it's what Activision's saying. I think it probably is somewhere in between, but more towards Bungie's side.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I feel like
It kind of makes you think because remember Activision. It's not just, you know, it's not just Destiny. It wasn't just Destiny. It has a whole bunch of other games, and I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to focus more on, like let's say like Call of Duty or whatever other games that they actually have out there. So now, like Waffle said, with the IP address, like they don't own that. And when they came together with Bungie, they agreed that Bungie would always have that. That that will not be taken away from them. So I feel like they like Waffle said. I just feel like they don't want to invest their time in it because they know that they got other games that they could be worried about. And let's face it, Call of Duty 4. I don't know. I didn't even want to buy it just because of the last ones that had came out. So
Yeah,
I'm thinking they probably just trying to focus more on that.
They were 8 years into a 10-year deal, and Destiny was one of their biggest money makers. It wasn't the biggest, but one of their biggest. So I don't really buy this idea of not wanting to put money into it because it's not their IP, because they were still making a lot of money off of it. So it doesn't really sound right that they would just give it up rather than still make that money and let the last 2 years,
No, but supposedly they're still making like a 8% of until the contract is done. So it's not it's like some kind of like royalty or it's just they're still receiving somewhat, not as much as they're receiving when they were together, but they're still receiving a small percentage.
Yeah, but it's still not going to be nearly as much as they would be making if they were still bankrolling the whole thing.
Yeah. Listen, it's so interesting because you got both sides of it coming out now saying the reason why, and us as Destiny, gamers, we're like trying to find out the truth. What is the truth? But it's just like any relationship. You love each other at first, and then you grow apart, and I think that's what happened here. And also, they just laid off 800 people, Activision. And I think they're using Bungie as an excuse for that because now you don't have to have so much manpower on Destiny. So they're using that as an excuse for laying off 800 people, which is kind of not right. I'm not saying 800 people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just think that Activision is taking a big hit here. And that leads me to our next topic, which is that the other rumor I heard from this is that Bungie's going to continue another annual pass. So if that happens, are you guys okay with that? That we do this again for next season in September? Because Destiny 3 is not going to be ready. So if Destiny 3 is not ready, what do you guys want to see happen? Do you want another annual pass? Which, we talked about money last week was not a big issue because this is our hobby. Or you guys want to see something different, a DLCs type of thing, like a Rise of Iron type of thing? What do you guys feel?
I feel like that if they do come with an annual pass, they should. I really think what they should do is not make a D3 and keep it like a D2, but bring back all the stuff from D1. Does that make sense? Like all the exotics, all the worlds, all the raids, and just then start building onto D2 like a World of Warcraft. And if they were to do that, but that's what they should do. Is that to do like September to like, October that season? If they did that, I feel like that would make the game a lot more popular.
Rhino in the chat agrees with you, Gall. He said keep adding on to this game. He agrees with you.
Yeah.
So the beefy Rhino agrees with the beefy Knight.
Well,
There's a lot of
that-
beef
that-
going
that's
on
for
here,
once.
fellas.
But I
me-
mean,
A
me
lot of beef.
like with me, the way I feel about it is I don't mind doing the annual pass, but don't do the annual pass in a DLC. Like, we just pay once and that's it. Like, hey, just get us for the year and that's it. Like, I
Well,
don't
they
want
did
to
that with
hear.
Rise of Iron, Icy. Rise of Iron was a DLC that was probably one of the best DLCs other than The Taken King. So if they did something like that, I wouldn't mind. I mean, we got a raid.
Yeah,
We didn't get a raid
that's what I'm
lair.
saying. It's
We
like
got
as long
we got
as
a raid. We got Wrath of the Machine raid, which was one of the best raids in the game.
and like
So
just keep giving us new stuff. Just keep giving us stuff. Like, okay, like I get what Go is saying. Bring back D1 into D2. But if they do that, just like the way that they were able to link D1 with D2, the people that have played D1, put that in for us, but let us get that for free rather than us paying for something we already have. Like I want like new stuff and I want more stuff, but I don't mind D1 because I love D1, but honestly, if I'm paying for something, I want to pay for something new. Like I could, it's easy for me just to go ahead and pop in my CD, my D1 CD, and just keep playing. Go back to D1. Yeah, wishing that I could have D2 weapons, but still, I just want new stuff. Like
I
new
think
stuff.
a good way to do it would be to do the annual pass, and like how through this annual pass we've had a lot of lulls through the year where there just really isn't much. You get everything done and then you have to wait a month or 2 months before the next update. In between that lull, they can release some of the old stuff too, like have the vanilla D1 stuff in the first season of that annual pass in the lull, and then in the lull of the second season they can bring back the Dark Below stuff, and they can bring back new stuff and then bring back the old stuff with it later on in that season. So there's always going to be stuff to do that they're adding to the game.
Well, I'm going to add to what you're saying, is that remember that cinematics where they showed where the light went to? Already it went to Mars and we got Warmind, and then to the Reef we got Forsaken. The next spot is the Dreadnought, and then after the Dreadnought, which is Saturn, is going to be where the Darkness is. And me personally, I think the Darkness is going to be coming in D3. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I think it's going to come in D3. So that's a little bit of a gap for a year, if you think about it, because if D3 comes out not this next year, the following September, we're looking at a big gap. So if we don't have the Darkness, until D3, that's a huge gap to be filled. So what do you guys think could fill in that gap? Honestly, what would you want to see to fill in that gap?
From a writing perspective, and I'm a writer, I definitely would not tease the Darkness at the end of the story and then save it for the next game. I think we're going to get something for it in this game. That'll be the last DLC, and that's going to leave us wanting more for D3. So I think we're going to see something of the Darkness in this game right at the end before D3 comes out.
So then if you're saying that, Jam, and with Forsaken, that was a DLC drop. Bang, Forsaken. So now you're saying in September it's going to be the Darkness, bang, as a DLC.
I'm not saying
then.
that because I don't know how they're going to roll out the DLC. I'm not even sure Bungie knows exactly what they're going to do at this point. But I think the last big content for this game is going to be something story-wise with the Darkness. So I think we're going to get something pretty big at the end of this that's going to lead to D3 and build up the excitement for D3.
Gotcha. What do you think, Icy?
Well, if we do end up going back to Saturn, I think that if we go back to the Dreadnought, get if we could get a raid like we got in the Taken King, you know, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome with jumping puzzles. Even though most of us hate those damn ships, but those jumping puzzles, man, just makes it worth it. It really does. Damn.
Well,
They better bring back the bones of Eos for you hunters then.
So you been, oh well, that we're gonna get into, Jam. You went a little too fast there. We're gonna get into that. But Icy, so you're saying you haven't been happy with these raid layers? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I really haven't. Like, you know, I don't know. It's like, I feel like the raids in Destiny 2 haven't been up to par, like D1 raids. D1 raids, I just feel like they were just by far the best. And like, I feel like like, even though a lot of people talk a lot of nonsense about Leviathan, I honestly like Leviathan because it has different parts of the raid.
It had the feel.
Yeah.
It had a feel of a raid.
It did. So now it's like, you know, even let's take it to Last Wish. Last Wish. Okay. So now, just by you putting in a code, automatically puts you at the end, and it counts it as a completion for the raid. It's like, you know, okay, you know, whatever. But I just don't. I don't feel like it's really a raid. Like, it's a raid. Yes, it's a raid, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's probably just because I'm stuck on D1 raids.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm totally agreeing with you. And something happened that I saw is that people are just going to Riven, killing Riven, and then doing the heart, and they completed the raid, and they're complete, and that counts as a completion. That's kind of bogus in my mind.
Don't get me wrong. Like, by people doing that, it's fine. Like, hey, you know what? If you want to get your 1,000 voices like that, hey, by all means, go ahead and do it. But I'm just saying, like, I just feel like the whole raid in general, like Last Wish, it's just, I feel like it was just too easy.
That's because you did it when you did it with people that know what they were doing. I'm gonna be real honest, I see it took 19 hours. 19 hours to get the first completion, bro.
Yeah, that was a pretty tough one at first.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, all right, but what I'm saying is, like, okay, as far as the Last Wish goes, you know, it's easy when you're at the right light level. But even now, as Leviathan, just regular Leviathan, how many people have problems with it? How many people still fumble at the end? Like, how many people can't get past Callus?
That's true.
You got a good point there. That's true.
But again, how many people just do the Riven cheese? How many people do it legit?
Oh, well, I never done that shit legit. I'm saying, as long as the cheese is there, I'm gonna keep doing the cheese. Like,
exactly. I mean, it'd be a different story if you were doing legit.
I can honestly say, before I met you guys, I was doing the cheese at Callus with the raid group that I was running with.
Well, you had to die.
Yeah.
You had to leave the fire team at a certain time.
Leave the fire team, yeah. So I'm not proud to say I did that, but it made it a little bit easier than having ads in the throne room.
Yeah. So. But I'm saying, it's like, but like, even now, people are having problems clearing out the throne room and Callus, even on normal, being like a 600 light. You know, it's like, that's like, I don't know.
Matter in Leviathan, though. There's the thing is that your light level is stuck at 380, even if you're at 650 light. Your light level is stuck.
Okay, but there. I get it. I get it. But what I'm saying is that, you know, Leviathan, like, people are still struggling in Leviathan. Like, I don't know. I feel like I said, a lot of people like the down Leviathan, but I honestly like the raid.
Hey, listen, I'm going to be honest with you, Icy. If I was to rate the raids, Leviathan on my list would be number 5, with the D1 raids being 1 to 4.
Yeah.
And then Leviathan would be 5, because it felt like a raid. I don't care what anybody says. When I first went in there, it felt like a raid. I spent hours and hours and hours in it, trying to get past it, and there was more encounter after encounter. Yeah, the Last Wish, yeah, they have a lot of encounters, but for some reason, there's something at that end of the Last Wish that's just throws it off because it's nothing that we experienced before. I understand that. And I think it's a little bit anticlimactic in that it's not like, all right, kill the boss, get the chest, get the loot, and it's over. You got to run that heart. It's so anticlimactic. And, you know, I don't know. I would never do that again if I was Bungie. Have that incorporated, because it's like, okay, we got to the chest, deal or no deal, you know, pick the chest and everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that ruined it for me in the Last Wish, and I know I've been running it a lot because there's nothing else to do, but still, you know, I don't know. I don't have Last Wish up there. I believe it or not, I got Argos before Last Wish, because the Argos fight is the only fight that's close to Wrath of the Machines. Axis fight is the Argos fight. The only thing that's different between Argos and Axis moved. Axis teleported. That's why I loved Wrath of the Machines. You never had a boss that teleported on you. You know what I mean? We did not have that. Vault of Glass, you did not have that. You did not have that in Crota. Yeah, he ran around, you know, back and forth, but he went back, and then you can hit him with the sword. But
Well, unless you're Rhino, then you know you can just like love tapping with the
yeah,
sword.
but you know what I'm saying. At least Axis, there was a lot of movement. That raid, I loved it because there was a lot of movement. Argos, you have movement because you got to go get the crystals to take down his shield. So you got people moving all over the place, which is really good. After that, I put probably Last Wish, SOS. You know, the only, and I told Gaul this, SOS, especially on Prestige, is probably the most challenging raid in Destiny. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, Oryx on hard mode was very hard because of all the glitches. But SOS is very challenging. You got a ton of ads. You got them all over the corners and in the middle. It's really hard. Valkor is so inconsistent with his damage and everything like that. You know, it is very challenging. I don't care what anybody says. It's very challenging, and I like going back in there and doing it on Prestige because it is a challenge. It's probably one of the most challenging things to do on Destiny 2. So that's why I like it. And honestly, this last one I would put at the bottom. Scourge's Pass.
Yeah.
It's the boss fight is not great. Everything before it, the Sparrow was fun.
Yeah, I
But
just feel
other
like
than
with
that,
Scourge is just too. The last boss is just too. It's too inconsistent. Like
Inconsistent? What do you mean by inconsistent?
All right, so you know how it's supposed to. You know how at times it concentrates on one person, right? So if it concentrates on one person, like it's supposed to. Yeah, you're right, Hirsch.
Too short.
It is too short.
It is too short.
It is too short.
I agree.
So now with it, it's supposed to be fought like somebody getting Argos of it, right? It's just like Morgus. I mean, what is it? Oh man, and what the fuck? You remember that big ogre in D1?
Oh, Golgoroth.
Yeah, Golgoroth. There you go. It's like Golgoroth. You know when you're trying to take his fuck. Why am I brain farting?
His gaze.
Yeah, when you're trying to take his gaze, he follows you, and he follows that one person. Like, why can't it be the same thing as this, where you know he's following one person, but then out of nowhere it just goes off and does whatever the fuck it wants to do. So then it doesn't stay. It's inconsistent with what's really going on. Because at times he's shooting at you, and then at times he's just shooting somewhere else. So then that's why you get like we can't really get a good DPS because it just pretty much glitches out and it looks completely the other way.
Yep.
That's actually, I'm going to be real frank with you guys. That's what I like about it. I like raids that make you adapt like that. That make you it so you have to adapt to him. He's not adapting to you. You have to adapt to him. That's what that raid is. And then on the last boss fight, okay, he's not going to focus on one person. He can focus on a different person. Okay, he focuses on a different person. Where's his crit spot to stop his attack? That's what I like about it, is that you always, if you really concentrate on that boss fight, you're always going to be moving. You're always going to try and stop his attack. You're always going to try and get down his crits. You're always trying to get down snipers. There's a lot of moving parts if we have those parts moving, though.
See, I
Like, to
get
be honest
that.
with you,
I get that. But
but
what I'm
that's
what
what I
I'm
like
trying.
about it is that you have to adapt to his playstyle. He won't adapt to you. You have to adapt to him and adapt to his raid. He's not going to adapt to us and
All
make
right,
it so we can't make
let
the
me
rules.
let me interject on this, and I'm going to be uh, I'm going to be really honest on this. Paul, you got to remember, D2 is your first love, so you're in love with this game a little bit more than we are. Icy and I play D1, and we're in love with D1. So the raids in D1 are more special to us. So I kind of understand what you're saying, in that you have an attachment or an affinity towards D2 raids because this is the game you first played. So if it was the other way around, I think you would probably think differently and everything about it. But yeah, I mean, it depends on what you like, and you have an affinity for this raid. I think what Hirsch is right is it is too short. I think a raid should at least have two bosses, two boss encounters that you have to fight in these raid lairs. Because I think Argos would have been phenomenal if there was another boss fight before you went against Argos. I think it would have been probably one of the better ones because of the last boss fight was really good. But that raid is a glorified strike in my mind.
Yeah, like I feel like they had it right. I feel like they almost had it right with SOS because SOS was a good raid. SOS was a good raid because you had your first phase as the boss and then you had your second phase as the boss, but it's just your whole way of getting there. I don't know. I just SOS for me, I thought was a good raid. Last Wish, my feelings on it. Scourge of the Past, I feel like it's too short and it's just I don't know. I feel like it has an inconsistency, and EOW, I just feel like it's a glorified strike, and then Leviathan is a good one.
Yeah, that's why, like I said, if I was to rate them, I would definitely put Leviathan because it felt like a raid as number 5, with the D1 raids being 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then, like I said, either SOS or Last Wish right behind, or Argos right behind it. I just think this last raid was underwhelming, and I think it would probably be at the bottom because it's not challenging at all. They don't even have a prestige to it. So if maybe they come out with a prestige version of it, I might feel differently about it.
Did not be
But
lazy like they did
I
in
don't think-
EOW and SOS.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they had to give you some kind of makeup, and they did that with the 400 power weapon, the prestige, which in actuality it should have been the armor, but they put it in SOS. If you look at SOS armor and Argos armor, it looks the same. I mean, honestly, it's like if you have one,
It's
you
a
don't need the
reskin.
other, right? It's a reskin. So yeah, there's laziness on Bungie's part. I don't know, but reskins, everything like that, and that's going to lead to this next topic that I'm going to ask you guys. That this came up between us and the clan. This is going to be the last topic on Destiny. Then I want to talk about Anthem. Toxic Seaman. What a name. Guys, whoever's listening in chat, that's the best name in the clan. I'm sorry, Biscuit. I love yours, but Toxic Seaman said, what do we feel about Anthem coming out? So I want to get into that at the end because I know that a lot of us can chime in on this. But the one thing I want to do before we get into that is, what do you guys feel about them bringing back all of these exotic weapons from D1? I mean, we got last word just recently. I'm hearing that Bad Juju might come back. Hearing the Thorn is coming back. So why does it make you feel good about this, or are you okay with it as long as they bring new ones like the Yodin and not the Burden and all of that stuff? So what do you guys feel about it? Icy, how do you feel?
Well, like I said, I like taking my new with the old. So if they bring them back old, bring some new also. That's how I feel.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Jamie?
I like them both too. I mean, it'd be great if it was like a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 new to 1 old, but you know, as long as they're bringing in new stuff with the old, I'm happy.
Yeah, because honestly, that Jotun, I love it. I don't know if you guys got your hands on it yet. That thing is phenomenal. That's a rocket launcher. That is not a fusion rifle. I don't care what anybody says. That is not a fusion rifle. That's a rocket launcher in your secondary. So I love it. I mean, it's one of the better new exotics that they came out with. The Le Marque, Le Monarch, whatever it's called. I don't speak French too well. It's okay. At a bow, I'd rather go with the Trinity Ghoul because I like electrocuting things instead of poisoning things. But yeah, I mean, Izanami Burn I don't use too much because I'm not a sniper person. But I'm okay with the new ones. If they bring back the Bad Juju, I'd be happy because I used it in Destiny 1, so I really enjoyed it. So I have no problem with it. So, Raul, what do you think?
Izanagi's Burden felt underwhelming for me, to be honest with you. I know, Waffles, I haven't really talked to this about you, but I feel like some snipers should be in the heavy slot because some snipers are just stronger, and that's why they're in the heavy slot. And that's the reason why, like the Darcy Whisper, they have special perks that give them extra precision damage. That's the reason why they're in the heavy. Because if they were in the special slot, they would be overpowered with the damage that they have. Izanagi's Burn, I feel like when they said that it's going to match the Whisper and the Sleeper for damage, I was like, for the one bolt, the Home Dash ×4, sure, I'll give you that. It does a lot of damage. But it's after that, it just feels very underwhelming. Like I would bring that in probably strikes, public events. That way I could replace my 1,000 voices that I could kill bosses super quick. But I'm not going to bring it inside a raid unless I know that I don't have enough time for DPS. Like, gotcha. I tried it once on Cali when I was melting point duty with the Titan. So I melting point and went back, used the Izanagi Home Dash ×4, shot her, and it did a lot of damage. But after that, it was like the DPS is just low. And so that's usually why I like the Whisper, Sleeper, Thunderlord, all these other weapons that are, in my opinion, are better. Just I feel like the Izanagi's Bird is a bit underwhelming for what they hyped it up to be.
Gotcha.
So
I don't have a problem. I don't have them problem them bringing back D1 exotics because the Thunderlord is amazing. It's better than it definitely is better this time around than it is in D1. I used it in D1. I use it predominantly now, especially in the raids and everything. It's phenomenal. It clears ads, unbelievable. If they bring back weapons that are better, they make them better. Then yeah, I'm definitely open to bringing back some of the D1 weapons. Hey, Dragon's Breath, bring back Dragon's Breath. Dragon's Breath, you freaking shot that thing and it burned everything. It was awesome. So bring
Remember
that
how
back.
garbage that was at first too?
Oh, dude, it was terrible. It was terrible. But you know, they had certain spots. You know, if you went into Sunless Cell and you go to fight Alakul, you lit up the whole room. You didn't need to worry about fighting in the dark. So a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And if you went into Archon's Forge and you threw on Rune Wings, you just kept shooting that thing all over the place and burning everything, which was a lot of fun. But if they do bring them back better, is what I'm saying. If you're not going to create new weapons, make the old ones that from D1 better. That's all I ask. So it'll be nice to have some old exotics come back, as long as they're not hand cannons constantly, please. I'm expecting the first curse to come back also with every else. Hawk Moon is going to probably.
I wouldn't mind having the Thorn. I kind of like the Thorn.
I heard the Hawk Moon's going to come back too. Luck in the Chamber. Yay.
Hawk Moon is probably going to have the High Noon perk, not the Luck in the Chamber perk. So that makes sense. Hawk Moon with the High Noon perk, that makes sense.
Be interesting. Be interesting. So thumbs up on this, or what? If they bring back some of the old ones.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, I give it a thumbs up. Hey, if they're anything like Thunderlord, I mean, how can you not like them coming back? I mean, Thunderlord's amazing. Just having machine guns, light machine guns back is pretty amazing. I still couldn't understand why they didn't have them in the beginning. It just made no sense. Especially to me. I used to use them all the time. I had a Silver Dread. I had the The one from the King's Fall raid, I loved. Qualm Terminus, I think it was called. So, a German name. I don't speak German, so that's why I can't pronounce it correctly. But all right, let's move on to that question. If anybody has a question in the chat, please send it to us because I am going to answer the questions. I'm going to bring it to the table. So, Toxic Seaman. I love saying that name. Toxic Seaman. I asked him, I said, should we call you Toxic or Mr. Seaman? He said Toxic. All right, he wants to know, since Anthem is coming out, and this is going to go more towards you, Icy, about answering this question because you are a clan founder. He says if Anthem comes out, which is going to be probably next week, I think it's the 22nd, are we going to see a drop-off in the clan playing Destiny?
Well, I think, honestly, I feel like if we do see a drop-off, we're going to see a drop-off like probably only for like probably the first month, and then people will end up coming back. Because Anthem is really not the same as Destiny, and they're really different. It's not the same game. It's two different kind of games. And I know a lot of people, trust me, I see it a lot, especially on Facebook. Oh, Destiny is going to fall off when Anthem comes out. And I don't think it's true because it's really two different games. And I actually tried it at one of my friend's house, and it's just the whole control and the feeling of it. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't like it. Me personally, I didn't like it. I really, if I were to buy the game, if they would have to actually make a whole big change to it. They would actually have to change the whole thing from it, or the way you move the control, or the way you use it, the way that you use your character. But as far as, seeing people fall off, like, yeah, it'll probably be for the first month, but then I feel like everybody's just going to come back to Destiny. Because they're really, like, me personally, I feel like there's no game like Destiny.
I don't think there's a game that's a first-person shooter that competes to Destiny. So,
yeah.
I didn't play the beta or whatever it was called, free preview, whatever. I didn't do it, and it's because I hate EA, and I will not buy a game from EA because they are the ones who predatorialized kids into loot boxes and started them with the pull the slot type of thing, which I consider gambling. So they preyed on kids. That's a form of gambling. I don't care what anybody says. When you basically spend money, your parents' money, on hitting a button and not getting what you think you're gonna get, that's a form of gambling. And they're the ones that started it with their games. Activision followed also. They did it in Black Ops and some of the Modern Warfares and stuff like that with the supply drops. They were still doing it with the other Call of Duty game, World at War, whatever it was called. So I'm not a big proponent of buying their games. My voice will be heard by not buying their games. So I just couldn't get myself to try it, even though it was free and everything. And I'm not a into third-person shooters. I like first-person shooters. I played Warframe, and I heard it's more like Warframe than it is Destiny. Yep. And I played Warframe for free. If you want a game that's going to challenge you, and with all their mods and everything like that, and grind, then play that. It's free. Play that. And it's third person, and you feel like a ninja playing that instead of throwing out your $60 on a game, and it's basically almost the same. It might be a little bit easier, but I just can't support EA. I'm sorry, I just can't.
Yeah, and I think what Ralph was touching up on what you said. I honestly feel like if anybody should be comparing those games, it should actually be those two games. It should actually be those two games because I feel like it had more of a Warframe feel than what it did of a Destiny feel. And you know what? I feel like the one that's gonna get hit bad by it will be Warframe. But I did play Warframe for a couple months, and I played Anthem, and I just feel like Warframe is slightly a bit better. Like I said, maybe it's because they haven't worked out all the kinks in Anthem. but I don't see myself buying the game.
How about you,
I mean-
Jam?
How many games have they said are the Destiny killer since Destiny was first released? Destiny's still here. It's still huge. It's got the best handling of any first-person shooter out there. I don't think anything's gonna kill Destiny except Bungie.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree. I agree. Bungie's gonna do something really stupid. Everybody's like, I ain't playing the game anymore. You know? I agree. Agree. I totally agree. I know, Gaul, you played Anthem. Your thoughts?
The tower sucked. Not gonna lie.
Oh,
Cause it put you back into first person, and you move slow AF, and then the heads-up display for missions and stuff was not that good. The radar wasn't that good in my opinion. The heads-up display and just in general on it was not the best. That's what I've told you this, Waffles. The heads-up display I feel like in D2 is better than D1. You can argue with me on that, but I'm gonna tell you D2 is better because of the fact that it shows you what super you have. In D2, it shows you what super you have, no matter what super you change to. That's why they have different icons for different supers because that's the heads-up display. That's what it is. It's not the person, it's the heads-up display, and that's what I love about D2 a little bit better than D1 is the heads-up display. The heads-up display in Anthem, I almost said Warframe there because it did feel like Warframe, is not the best in my opinion. That's what they need to work on. The heads-up display.
how was the feel of the game itself when you were in the open world and doing
I loved-
strongholds and stuff?
I loved shooting auto rifle. I'm not gonna lie. The auto rifle shooting felt awesome. It felt great because I felt like you were shooting like an auto rifle. Because like it was like because the control you can change the settings because the I'm not sure if you could. I didn't really dabble in it. But like you control vibrators every time you shot an auto rifle, and it vibrated pretty hard, so it felt like your bullets were doing damage. The missions is like okay. I didn't really understand what was going on because you started at level 10. You did a level 10 mission, so I didn't understand what was going on. And so I feel like that if they came up with the beta, they need to go from like levels 1 to 5, give us a feel of the early levels instead of the later levels. But that's just how I feel.
Gotcha. I've seen them watching TV shows and stuff. I see a